Modern Horizons 3, unfortunately for Wizards of the Coast, got leaked super hard. A bunch of cards got revealed, and now it forced Wizards' hand and actually has now officially revealed a good chunk of those cards. So we are only, if you don't like spoilers or leaks or anything like that, you gotta get out of here. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Don't go any further than this first 25 seconds of this video. But for everyone who wants to see the cool hot stuff, either getting printed for the first time or coming into Modern, that's what we're going to talk about today. But we're only going to discuss the cards that have been officially leaked, not leaked, but spoiled by Wizards of the Coast. Alright, we're going to start off with Kappa Cannoneer. Have they lost their goddamn minds? This is a blue 5 generic 4/4 Turtle Warrior, aka also known as Blastoise, because it is a turtle with a blaster on the back of its back. It'll blast you into last year. It's got Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating the mana abilities pays for 1. So it's basically Convoke. Like you just convoke this thing directly onto the battlefield. But the biggest problem is that it's got Ward 4. Which, by the way, who the hell has 4 mana ever during any part of the game? Like, even with a 1 mana removal spell like Sword Plowshares, which, by the way, doesn't even exist in Modern, they'll get just countered hard. It'll just hard get countered by this Ward 4 build. You would literally need to have 5 lands in play. You can't Fatal Push it, it's too big. You can't Lightning Bolt it. I don't even know what you can do about this. Cannoneer is actually cool for Affinity. Absolutely, it's going to be cool for Affinity. It's not going to be good for anybody else. Even worse, that Convoke of artifacts. So your random Memnites and Ornithopters that help pay for this damn thing. But wait, there's more! Whenever Kappa Cannoneer or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on your Kappa Cannoneer. And it can't be blocked this turn.
No, God, please, no.
It's unblockable. It's effectively, they're reprinting True Name Nemesis in Modern and it's worse. It's worse than True Name Nemesis. True Name Nemesis is like a 7-turn clock. This is like a 3-turn clock. First it hits you for 5, then for 6, and then who knows how much. Honestly, okay, so it's probably gonna, maybe it's a 4-turn clock. 3 turns if you, like, did some fetches and shocks. So you want to Shatterstorm this thing? Good luck. What does Shatterstorm do? Oh, it destroy all artifacts. That would work, that would work. That gets around the Ward 4. Although you still have to pay 4 mana for that thing as well. Yeah, Ward 4, unblockable, okay. So, and even, like, I watched this video about Ward from Gavin Verhey. He said, like, you know, this was meant for Commander. It was totally fine there. Where, you know, a lot of people have mana. The games go long. Who cares? And then it got snuck into Legacy. It absolutely was a complete disgrace. It was very, very strong. It was part of one of the strongest decks that did not use reserve list cards ever, called 8cast. It's actually been pushed out for the favor of, what's it called? Patchwork Automaton or something like that. Anyway, it has been replaced, but it's still a very, very, very damn strong card. All turtles should have haste just because. I don't think that would be, I think that would be a flavor fail. It can win the race, but it can't have haste, that's for sure. Blow says with the new Uganland is going to be so bonkers. Uganland imprints something like Cityscape Leveler, and then it's basically Ancient Tomb. Alright, while we're on the topic, give us 1-drop Merfolk. Yeah, please give us 1-drop Merfolk. Okay, what was that? It was called like Ugan's Nexus or something? Ugan's Nexus, I think is the card. No, that's completely something else. Nexus? What is this card called? The land. Ugan's Labyrinth. Okay, so this is like a new hot card that is going to be for the Eldrazi decks, I guess. They're really trying to make Eldrazi-tron a thing again. This card also is insane. What, have they lost their mind again? It's a soul land. It's worse than, in some cases, in this specific deck, it's worse than Ancient Tomb. Land, imprint. When Ugan's Labyrinth enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless card with mana value 7 or greater from your hand. So, I don't know, probably a lot of the affinity cards. You could throw away, you know, Karn Liberated, Ola's Dust, Ugin, Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. There's a good chunk of cards. Now, maybe it's clunky. I don't know. Now, tap, add a colorless. If a card is exiled with Ugin's Labyrinth, add double colorless instead. Also, if it's crappy later on in the game, you can tap and return the exiled card back to your hand. Alright, so if you threw away your Ola's Dust to enable this thing, imagine this. Have you ever wanted your imprinted card back to your hand when you play Chromox? When you play, well, I don't want to say Isochron stuff, you want to save it there. But let's say you play Chromox. You ever wanted that thing back in your hand? Well, now you can do it. You can, in the late game, your land basically is a spell all over again. You bounce it back to your hand. Yeah, bounce it back to your hand and then replay it. So it's straight up gas. Fred says this is straight up broken. We'll see how it plays out. Like, you need to have a very expensive card in your hand to even enable this in the first place. It's got to be 7 mana or higher. It's got to be colorless. Alright, so you can't sneak some, like, blue artifacts in there, for example. Not legendary. That's right, this plus the Eldrazi Temple. We're going to go back to Thought-Knot Seer on turn 2 all over again. Oh, God, I hated Thought-Knot Seer on turn 2. It was one of the most miserable experiences of all time. And I hated how consistent that was. Do we really want to go back here? And now, a lot of people point out as well, this enables turn 1 Chalice of the Void. Alright, Chalice of the Void. On turn 1 in Modern, this is I wouldn't say it's a first time ever. You know, when we had Simian Spirit Guide, actually, this was enabled a few times. But Eldrazi-tron very often play Chalice already in the main deck. Now a little bit too slow for Modern, because on turn 2, a lot of the 1-drops that are important are already in play. But now you can get it out on turn 1, which is at the pace of Legacy. So, Ugin's Labyrinth. Do we have anything else to say about this thing? I doubt Tron... Maybe Tron might want to play this? Like regular Tron decks to help enable a more consistent turn 3, the One Ring, which I also am not looking forward to. Rocktop Games, I'll never imagine I'll be saying this, but we are going to need Wasteland in Modern at this rate. You better believe it! Where is our Wasteland? Hey, maybe it's going to be spoiled still. Maybe it's still going to be spoiled. I can't believe they made a black bordered nearby planet. I don't know what that means. Yeah, danger to me. It's like Tomb, except it doesn't deal damage to you. And the card that costs to activate it can be put right back into your hand. And still taps for mana. Still taps for mana anyway. Honestly, I'm more interested in the draft environment. On paper, though, probably a Draftmancer or Forge. Dust Bowl is useful against this. We don't have Dust Bowl in Modern. We have Dust Bowl in Legacy, though. Alright, I think we spent enough time on this card. Let's take a look at Robert's Super Chat. The Spawn Gang Commander. This is a weird card. Okay, you ever heard of Siege Gang Commander? Have you heard of Eldrazi's? Well, now we've got the Spawn Gang Commander. It is a red 3 generic 2/2 Eldrazi Goblin. I guess the Siege Gang Commander commanded the troops into the wrong territory. Eldrazi took a look at them and for 1 second and said, "Resistance is futile, you will be assimilated." So this Eldrazi Goblin has Devoid, so it's technically colorless. Whenever you cast this spell, create 3. That's correct. Unos, dos, tres. 3/0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with. Sacrifice this creature to add a colorless mana. Basically the old functional Eldrazi creatures. Now you can pay a colorless and 1 generic, sacrifice an Eldrazi for Spawn Gang Commander to deal 2 damage to any target. So what the cool thing is that those creatures can ramp you up. I mean, you're at 5 mana already. You get 3 more Eldrazi spawn tokens, which are effectively Lotus Petals, so you can help bridge yourself into 8 mana, 9 mana spells next turn for sure. Oh god, did we really need to bring back Devoid, says Maddie. King Ginger says, I really want a Phyrexia versus Eldrazi set now. Me too! I've been waiting for that for forever. T-minus the that set. I would love to see it. Where's my free uncounterable Stone Rain? Oh, you mean Wasteland? You know what? It would change Modern so much. I don't know if we're ready for it. And it looks actually between the free spells that they've given us, it's not clear that Wasteland is necessary yet in Modern. It would change so much though. Of course, probably it would keep a lot of decks in checks, but at this point, it's just like big Haymaker decks versus other big Haymaker decks. So you gotta make sure to make your own big Haymaker deck. Bryce, I see your suggestion. That card is not officially spoiled. For one reason or another, I have no damn clue. I have no idea. Christopher B. going crazy over Orim's Chant. Yeah, this card is now going to be part of Modern. It is a white instant. Target player can't cast spells this turn. If the spell is kicked, however, creatures can't attack this turn either. So, and it also has a kicker of a single white. Now, I know this card is very popular in Commander. Card sees absolutely no play in Legacy, and I'd be very curious to know if this is going to do anything in Modern. Maybe it will, maybe it not. Combo decks hurting right now. They could use some tools. Will Orim's Chant even do anything? I don't even know what shell this would go into that would even help it. Because what you do is you really put the counterspell player to a task, like, okay, Orim's Chant, I gotta counter this, because if I can't, then I most definitely can't counter what they're gonna play this turn anyway. And you get screwed one way or another. But at the same time, like, I don't know. A lot of people are like, hey, I can finally play Isochron Scepter with my Orim's Chant in Modern. This is like the level 0 strat in not only Commander, and maybe it works better in Commander, but it's absolutely atrocious in Modern. Just absolutely atrocious. Because once you blow up the Isochron Scepter, you get nothing. You know, in response to you activating Orim's Chant, okay, Boseiju. You know, Disenchant, Leyline Binding. You know, you pick your poison here because there's no way this Isochron Scepter gets to stick around for more than 2 seconds. Yeah, the big dream is you don't get to do anything, but in fact, you can do a lot of things. So yeah, this is a real card. And it's coming to Modern. All right, the Duck Fighter. Thank you very much. Early tip for AI stream this week. Oh, I prefer that. Well, I hope you remind me. It's a little too early for me. I can easily forget this by tomorrow. Okay, let's go with SMD's Null Elemental Blast. I was a bit bummed to see this card because I was really hoping, really hoping to see Blue Elemental Blast and Red Elemental Blast in this set. This just sort of, you know, basically squashes all my hopes. Because, like, if this is in, probably they're not going to have space for, you know, the ones that I actually want. This is probably the modern power level Elemental Blast. It is for 1 colorless, so you're going to need Mutavault mana, Tron mana, maybe the mana from Cavern of Souls, Wastes or something. To play an instant, choose one. Counter target, multicolored spell. You know, your what is it called? Territorial Kavus and so on, your Omnats, or you can destroy. Target multicolored permanent. Won't be lasting for very long. Now, will you, Omnath? First you see it, and now you don't. Also hits things like Teferi Time Raveler. It can hit Grist. Can counter Grist, so long as it wasn't cast off of Delighted Halfling. But even if it resolves, you at least will blow it up one way or another. So that you know what? Maybe they'll come up with a monocolor one. Wouldn't that be great? Just a strictly better Hydro Blast and Blue Elemental Blast. This is like just counter target multicolored spell, destroy target multicolored permanent. Well, we have one for just monocolored permanents. So let's blow up anything. And it could also be for colorless. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Does this counter any non-colored commander? You mean 0 colors? No, I don't think it would do that. It needs to have at least 2 or more colors. You have 2 or more colors, then you are considered multicolored. That's going to be very important. So that mana cost isn't colorless. It's not. It is colorless. It is literally colorless. You cannot tap. It's not generic mana, so you can't tap an island and pay for this. You literally have to get it from colorless. Like let's look at a current Soul Ring. Soul Ring taps for literally colorless, not generic mana. See the mana cost here? That's generic. You look at what it taps for. It taps for colorless. Same thing with like Mana Vault. Mana Vault adds colorless mana. which you can use. Also, if you look at some of the new, like, Cavern of Souls. Let's look at Cavern of Souls. Also taps for colorless. You see that colorless of the diamond? It taps for diamond, as released when the Eldrazi set came out. So that is what you need in order to tap for the same thing with wastes. That's right, Toads, wastes. Waste also oh, there's a lot of waste cards in this game. Waste also taps for colorless. Basic land, but not a basic land type. Waste is just nothing, not a zip. When did they implement this new colorless rule? When Thought Not Seer came out. What set was that? Like this, when the diamond came out, they decided, you know what, people are really confused by the generic mana cost. Like, Mark Rose, I believe it was Mark Rosewater or maybe another developer said, people are really confused when they saw 3. Did that mean like they need to get 3 from things like Soul Ring that added like 2 regular? The people did not intuitively understand that, cards, like they didn't understand generic mana cost. So now strictly anything that used to add colorless, now, well, like generic looking mana now adds literally colorless, and this 3 means you can add colorless or blue, green, black, white, whatever the hell you want. Snow also doesn't count. That's true. Yeah, Oath of the Gatewatch came out with the OGW. OGW. So anyway, the Null Elemental Blast. Okay, next up, let's get one. Okay, Mordrak. Well, this one's someone, I think this is a card everyone knew about. Emrakul, The World Anew. This also was previously spoiled by Wizards of the Coast. The 12 mana, 12/12 Eldrazi. As if we need another effing Emrakul in this game. This is a, whenever you cast this spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. But there's more. Flying, protection from spells and from permanents that were cast this turn. Well, when is it? Protection from spells and permanent. Okay, so it has protection from spells and from permanents that were cast this turn. So I guess it has protection from like Leyline Binding and Oblivion Ring. See, they fixed Emrakul that it doesn't get hit by Oblivion Ring anymore. Now it's even more broken. As if it wasn't broken enough, it's now even more broken than before. I'm back, and I learned how to defeat Oblivion Ring. Ha! Fools. And also, what does it also beat the Moon card? In the Moon? It's like encased in the Moon or something like that. Imprisoned in the Moon. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap, add colorless, and loses all other card types and abilities. Look, doesn't even, this card is a flavor fail now. It's doesn't even trap Emrakul in the Moon anymore. Once you got freed from the Moon, it was all over. Okay, now when it leaves the battlefield, you have to sacrifice all creatures you control, which who cares? I still lost all my creatures, one way or another, they're gone. But it has madness of paying 6 colorless. Now, for a Tron deck, that's easy. I mean, Urza Tower, Mine, Power Plant, boom! We have successfully unlocked Tron, and we can easily pay that 6 mana. Now, there's a lot of people talking about a combo we have here with the Underworld Cookbook. See, the Underworld Cookbook is this 1 mana. Oh, isn't that convenient? This costs 1. This costs 6 when discarded for madness. What a coincidence! And we only need 7 mana with Tron anyway. It's an artifact. Tap, discard a card, create a food token. Now, this is where things get really spicy. When we discard the Emrakul, we can pay the madness, pay 6. So basically, by turn 3, it can swipe all your stuff. It's just gonna take everything. Emrakul can die to Royal Assassin, so it's balanced. Yeah, that's true. So you blink the Imprison of the Moon and then attach it to Emrakul? Well, that might actually work. There you go. We just have to blink the Moon. That's as easy as that. Nikachu, has Stifle been leaked? Nope, not yet. It hasn't been leaked, also hasn't been revealed. Nothing. Nothing, not as it. Zip. Tammy says she can no longer be put in the Moon. She broke out once, she will break out again. If the Moon explode. Actually, you can see the Moon in the background. Isn't that the Moon? Is that the Moon or Earth? I can't tell which one it is. Do we know if the spoilers start today or is just a sneak peek? No, what happened, Lumberjack, is some idiot early and started leaking it all over the internet, so it sort of forced Wizards' hand to officially spoil the cards ahead of time. Although they didn't spoil all of them, there's just some spicy cards still left in the coffers. So, but we're only going to reveal the cards that have been officially spoiled. Gavin with Sylvan Safe. Hold on, was this super chat? No. No one super chat that one. Okay, Sylvan Safekeeper. This card looks insane. This is so cool. Now, this is an old card, by the way. It's an old wizard. Brought anew. It's a green 1/1 human wizard. Sack a land. Target creature you control gains Shroud until end of turn. This, I would kill for this to be my 1-drop Merfolk. Not gonna lie. I wish this was I didn't know this card existed, to be honest. And it's amazing. Like, that's perfect. Sack a random. It's basically sacrifice a land, counter target instant or sorcery spell. I think that's perfect. So, I mean, that targets a creature you control. Yeah, if this was a Merfolk, I would love it. It's a human wizard, though, so it's completely useless to me. However, maybe it can help buff up the humans decks. Humans decks, they're hurting. They could use some tools here. I mean, they got a lot of 1 toughness creatures getting sniped off by the Wrenn and 6, the Bowmasters. Maybe the Sylvan Safekeeper is going to keep them safe from now on. And also, their lands are sort of useless anyway. They got like a good combination of Noble Hierarch and also Ether Vial. I don't know if that's the direction that they're going to still want to go down. Noble Hierarch, a little bit soft banned in Modern because of all the 1 toughness hate. But maybe this is a card that can help push things in the right direction and help get humans back on track. His bones hurt? Their bones hurt. What the hell are you talking about? Is that a card? Is Nikachu real or AI generated? I don't know, you tell me. Let's take a look at a super chat coming from King Ginger. Thank you very much. Haragast. Erupting Nullkite. Oh, the Eldrazi Dragon. You like dragons? You like Eldrazi's? Do you make separate decks for both of them? Well, now you can put this in both of them. We have a 9-mana 6/6 Eldrazi Dragon. I didn't know there were dragons in the Eldrazi world. I guess it's like another assimilated creature. Now, it's going to merge for a red 6 generic. You can cast this spell by sacking a creature and paying the emerge cost, reduced by that creature's mana value. When you cast this spell, you may exile your hand. And if you do, you draw 3 cards. All right, so we've got... It's basically Ancestral Recall, attached to a 6/6 flying body. How sweet is that? Is there a combo with this? If there is, I don't know what it is. Each creature spell you cast has Emerge. The Emerge cost is equal to its mana cost. So this card, I mean, once on the battlefield, it's going to go off really quickly. You're going to draw more cards. It's got to Emerge by itself. I don't know. I guess, and you can sack Eldrazi's for the damn thing. I will sacrifice my Thought-Knot Seer, my Reality Smasher, to help pay the cost to bridge this thing into my hand. Not to mention, it is technically a colorless card. You can put it underneath that land, the Ugin's Nexus thing that we looked at earlier. So did the Eldrazi commit a Phyrexia? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. I don't know the lore very well enough. The lore is too deep for me. It's an Emrakul moment. You can definitely sack Emrakul to get this thing back, get this thing in play. But yeah, each creature spell you cast has Emerge. The Emerge cost is equal to its mana cost. So if anything, you can at least sacrifice this thing to get your Emrakul in play. So if your Emrakul wasn't out yet, well, it will in a minute. It has no problem. It's interesting that you can't discard the cards anymore. They're like, oh, we're not gonna let anyone break the graveyard this time. This is like faithless looting fixed in some capacity. Okay, a lot of people are talking about the Winter Moon card. Toilet Duck is asking about it. Who else is asking about it? Oh, I think it's just Toilet Duck. Okay, Winter Moon. So they sort of brought back to... So I get Commander players, I got some bad news for you. I got some very bad news for you. There's another Stacks piece. It's coming to a Stacks deck near you. Do they have room for more Stacks cards? Okay, anyway, 2 mana artifact. Players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during their untap steps. It is non-basic land hate, so it's not quite back to basics. It's not quite Winter Orb. It's somewhere in between these two things. Maybe it's the moon that Emrakul came from. Abzo loves stacks. Huge stacks persons. Okay, some people are happy. Some people are not. So some people are really excited about this. Some people think it's danger. It's another thing that's screwing over my lands. Stop taking away my land. Now, look, it doesn't bust the lands permanently. You get to untap one every single turn. You can always untap your basics. So remember, play more basics. You gotta be like Henrik over here. Henrik runs a lot of basics. Oh, but you're still gonna hate it anyway. Well, why would you? Majra, well, it's gonna be brutal for all your custom decks, Majra, because you like a lot of multicolored cards in the first place. So it's going straight in my Winter Orb deck. Because we don't have enough Winter Orbs and Blood Moons or anything like that. I'll always be happy for more non-basic hate, says Temmie. Honestly, not danger, I just don't like it. The Sun and Moon have decided to make a competition of our misery, says Narman, the veteran explorer. I honestly don't know if this is going to see any play in Modern. We already have access to Damping Sphere, which does a very similar hate job versus Tron, Amulet, and so on. I think being able to untap one non-basic land every single turn is actually not punishing enough, even to like multicolored decks. We already live in a world in Modern with Magus of the Moon, with Blood Moon, in the main deck even right now. Like, it's not like, and because of things like Blood Moon, decks like Crashing Footfalls, Living End, they lived pretty easily. There's so many answers to these cards right now. The Force of Vigor, the Boseiju, the Leyline Binding. There's like basically an infinite number of cards that can answer Winter Moon that I don't even think it's going to be that big of a problem. And already we live in a world where, because Blood Moon is so prevalent, people are used to fetching out their basics. They'll play with like one non-basic and 2 to 3 basics per game if they have to. Fetch lands are very prevalent and will very easily make the playing around this easy. So I don't think this is going to have a huge impact on Modern, especially since like no one even plays Damping Sphere, which I think is an even stronger hate card versus Amulet. Maybe not versus Tron. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Probably still like an even better hate card versus Tron. So I don't know how good a hate Winter Moon is going to affect that format. Probably is going to have a bigger influence on Legacy. Maybe. Imagine like the lands decks in Legacy are not going to want to see the Winter Moon. In addition to that, Commander probably is just going to be a Commander staple. Zero sum fun, says John Doe. That's right. Zero sum. Prepare more counter spells for this stuff. We must prepare. Prepare good time. Okay, next up. Steve Cooper's Planar Nexus. Let's take a look at Planar Nexus. This is the card I was thinking of earlier. Planar Nexus. Something Nexus. Something. Is it Planar Nexus? How many Nexuses are there? Or is it just not called Nexus? Is it not on Scryfall? Planar something? Image coming up? Okay. Image coming right up. We don't have an official image, but I tell you what we do have. We officially have this card spoiled. Okay, get this. This land is... I don't even understand this land fully. Can anyone please help me? You have to help me here. This is a land. Planar Nexus is every non-basic land type. We're talking cave, desert, gate, lair, locust, mine, power plant, sphere, tower, and Urza. Because apparently Urza is a land type, as far as I'm concerned. It fills Tron on its own. Does it work like that? So if we have got like Urza's Tower plus Planar Nexus, the only ones in play, we have add 4 mana? Or is it like, if I have Urza's Tower, 2 Planar Nexuses in play, I add 5? Like, I don't understand this card. If you can have Urza's Tower plus this thing in play by turn 2 and play a 1 ring next turn, this is busted. This is getting banned instantly. Or the 1 ring, if this is going to do in the 1 ring instantaneously. Not to mention, this is, again, another way to get Thought-Knot Seer in play by turn 2, which is just insane. Urza's type, useless. You need Tower, Mine, and Power Plant. No, well, I mean, apparently this... No, this is going to count. This is like a chain... It's almost like Changeling for the land types. It's a commander card, but yes, it does fill Tron on its own. That's so incredibly broken. They broke Tron with 2 new Tron lands. I know. It has Rageling from Unfinity or something like that. Dragon Maze support. Yeah, Dragon Maze, as if Dragon Maze needed some support out there. Well, the type is not Tron though, so maybe it doesn't work. No. They specifically designed this to help Tron, like, because you're gonna have all the Tron types, but it won't add mana itself. Like, it just adds colorless mana, but it will help Urza's Tower add 3 mana, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have basically, yeah, it doesn't have basic land types. It's each non-basic land type. All non-basic land types. Chaos ensues and it danger. That's right. Why? Why did they design this? Why do we need this card in existence? This thing's absolutely silly. Yeah, I know, exactly, Beanpot. Tron doesn't need help. Tron is perfectly fine. Well, where's the is the metagame here? Tron is number 6 in the metagame slot, and it constantly gets new cards, like, on a daily basis. Every set that comes out buffs Tron. We have the, like, I remember a time they played, like, Karn Liberated and Ugin the Spirit, not Ugin the Spirit Dragon, like Ugin, no, was it the Ugin the Spirit Dragon? The 8 mana Ugin. And they played just a lot of crap, really. And now it's like, look, they got Karn the Great Creator, they've got the One Ring, they've got Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. It's like a completely different deck from what I used to know, from how I used to know it. It's not in the main set though, it's just oh, is that true? Oh, it's in the commander, the 3 command. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Oh, whew. That's complete relief. Good. Okay. So long as it's not in modern, then that's good. That's good news for us. For as far as we know now, as far as we have spoiled. It's wonderful. That's the official image, right? No, not quite. Okay, so if this is specifically a commander card, great. It will be plenty. But do you know what? But it still could be used in Legacy. So maybe it's not going to be busting anything in Modern if it's a commander card, but that's totally fair game in Legacy. So they still have turn 2 One Rings that can come out via Urza's Tower and this damn thing. I think this is going to be an insane and played a lot. Not legal until 6/24. Yeah, we're super far away from anything being legal. Okay, yeah, this is Modern Horizons 3 it does say Modern Horizons 3 Commander here. Let me clarify. Ooh, you get to see what's behind. Look, you ever see what's behind the scenes here? Okay, Modern Horizons 3 Commander. I didn't know that until now. You guys saved me from looking too stupid. So apparently snow isn't considered a land type according to the wiki. Land types are subtypes, but snow is a super type. Yeah, that's not for me to... I'm not a judge. I'm not a judge. This is not legal advice. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you heard the music like a million years ago. So we have to thank our sponsor. We're going to look at more Modern Horizons 3 spoilers. We've got to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. You can get your Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You also can pre-order Modern Horizons 3 cards when they are available. You're going to love them Modern Horizons 3 cards for your Commander decks, for Modern decks, and Legacy. Of course, you have to buff them up, and you can buff up your order using coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Test those new babies out in decks, making sure... Like, there's going to be a whole new range of archetypes. This is going to break Modern and Legacy completely wide open. You're going to want to test those cards for a test drive by renting the cards on Magic Online. You don't want to buy them yet, but once you find the deck right for you, that's when you buy them on paper. But rent using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_7LH. All right, back to this insanity. Everything I said about Tron is still legal. It's just not legal. I'm sorry, it still applies. It's just not legal in Modern. You have to do it in Commander or Legacy. Okay, next card. Hoax is like, I think I'm late. You probably are. Okay, next, Henrix with the Null Drifter. Null Drifter, 7 mana, 4/4. Oh, they fixed the evoke. Congratulations. When you cast this spell, draw 2 cards. They admit, okay, Wizards of the Coast has just admitted that they completely effed up with these elementals. No longer can you reanimate them from the graveyard for its effect, or that you can blink them. Yeah, I don't know. R.I.P. Wizards of the Coast Evoke design. This is the new Evoke design. When you cast it, you get the ability. Now, on the other hand, this is strong because it actually gets around, for example, counter spells, so you're going to get the ability no matter what. Okay, flying. Annihilator 1. Honestly, not that broken for a 7-mana card. And of course, the Evoke is a blue 2 generic. You can cast the spell for its Evoke cost. If you do, it's sacked when it enters the battlefield. Yeah, good riddance to the old ETB triggers. Now it's cast triggers. Old news, the ETBs. New news upon cast. Good stuff there. If they can make it work in any capacity, it should. Will we ever see an invocation that isn't an elemental? I don't know. Probably not. Priest of Titania will be illegal in Modern because of the set. That's true. Although I have to admit it, that card is dead on arrival. Completely dead on arrival. It means it has evasion and annihilator, so it is a flying 4/4. Oh, you know what I didn't think about? This actually, okay, I'm sorry. In Eldrazi Tron, this card will be great. Now I gotta check, make sure it's not in the commander set. Okay, so this is gonna be legal in Modern. And you could, on Tron mana, play a 4/4. Oh, actually, this card's crazy. Okay, so basically at Tron mana, you got a 4/4, draws you 2 cards, and you have an evasive Annihilator 1. So basically, it's smacking me in the face for 4 damage a turn while forcing me to sack a permanent. Like, all of a sudden, I'm a bit concerned. I'm like, oh, I feel I am in danger. I am Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger. Wait, what did they change about Evoke? So instead of ETB, draw the 2 cards, it says when you cast the spell, draw 2 cards, which can still get hit by that counter spell that we looked at earlier. So you can still, what was it called? Null Elemental Blast it. Can still be countered. Unless it's uncounterable with Cavern of Souls or something. They didn't change it about Evoke, but they said on cast this card. Yeah, well, that's a big difference because every Evoke card in the past, they got the effect upon ETB. But thanks to Ephemerate and Not Dead After All, and amongst other cards, they started to abuse the damn thing. Even Reanimate in Legacy is actually abusing the Evoke elementals. So you, like, play Grief, it goes to the graveyard. Oh, I reanimate, I get it all over again. Strong stuff. My favorite Ralph Wiggum, my favorite Ralph quote, says Christopher B. Me fail English? That's impossible. Wasn't some Evoke activated on death? I have no idea. I'm not a, I do not specialize in Evoke abilities or Evoke anything, so do not ask me. Okay, next up, we take a look at, I think this was a community suggested card, so we go to a super chat. Okay, Ulamog the Defiler. Effing insane. Ulamog the D. Is this it? No, hold on. Is that hold on, is that an officially spoiled card? I guess not. The Defiler? I didn't hear about this card. Let me look at my cheat sheets. This might not be an officially spoiled card. Nope, not officially spoiled, if that was something. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Wizards of the Coast. Are you watching me? Sorry, I didn't mean to. It was a community-suggested card. I just trusted that it was released. Here, we'll look at another one in the same vein. It that heralds the end. Which is an Eldrazi card. This can be in place of the other card. Okay, we have a colorless 1 generic 2/2 Eldrazi drone. Colorless spells you cast with mana value 7 or greater cost 1 less to cast. That's great. So that's exactly what I need to hear. The Emrakul's of my opponent don't cost nearly as much anymore. And other colorless creatures you control get +1/+1. Weird Lord effect. It's very, very strange. Now it's a 2/2 creature, so it's going to survive everything. Or sorry, all the 1 mana pingers. Your Ren and 6s, your what's it called? Your Bowmasters, your Lava Darts. Maybe 1/2 if someone tried to split up the fire from Fire and Ice. No, they gotta pour the whole damn thing on here. But anyway, that was a card also just spoiled a very, very long time ago. Okay, next up. A lot of people ask about Flare of Denial. Let's take a look at Flare. Flare of Denial. Is this card amazing or is it pathetic? Well, let's look at it. It's a blue 1 generic instant. You may sacrifice a non-token blue creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Counter target spell. I see where you're going with that, and I don't like it. I think they have a very specific flavor artist giving us this sort of, I don't know, unique, sort of slight cheesy but sort of fun flavor texts these days. Free spell Zyber, says Steve Cooper. Other people are like, free spells don't Zyber. No, you're tapped out. Tapping out means nothing these days. So the idea is this might be the new Herald for Merfolk, like the Force of Will for Merfolk. Because as we play creatures, we can sacrifice them to counter our opponent's spells. Ideally, we play creatures early, we attack with them, and then if our opponent plays something that needs to be countered, we play the Flare of Denial. Not to mention, this counters anything. Creature spells, non-creature spells, artifacts, planeswalkers. There's no condition on this. When we played like Subtlety, Force of Negation, cards like those, it hits half of cards, but not the other half. This card hits everything, so it's the closest we have to something like Force of Will. But the cost is you have to sacrifice a creature. You got no creature in play, this card does nothing. You've got tokens in play, this card does nothing. You play Ether Vial turn 1 or a land to pass to hold up like Spell Pierce. Again, this card does nothing. So there's a lot of ways this card goes wrong very early on in the game. However, we're very likely to have creatures turn 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is still a lot of cards that you can't counter, like really important cards. I want to hit Grist and Yawgmoth, but Delighted Halfling, this still gets around it. Amulet Titan, they play Cavern of Souls to play their Primeval Titan. So in that case, Subtlety is actually better than Flare of Denial, potentially in that matchup. Now, I am concerned about like how this tempos ourselves out of the game, because I don't really want to be sacrificing my creatures. Like, I want to keep my creatures on the board. The whole, like, imagine a Delver deck in Legacy. They play Delver, they flip it, they attack for 3, and then would they want to sacrifice it to Flare of Denial? No, they absolutely would not want to do that. They would want to. The card in your hand costs nothing. The card in play costs something. You spent 1 or 2 mana, or even 3 mana for in our case, every so often. You can still use it with mana. You don't necessarily need creatures, but 3 mana is a lot. Like, then that's just cancel, which is fine, by the way. It's fine that we can still play it as a cancel card, but its value is going to be able to play it for free. So essentially, play our hand out, tap out, attack for a lot. And my fear is that this card is best when we have a big board that we can afford to sacrifice something, but at the same time, we usually don't have a big board that we can afford to sacrifice something. Usually our board is crushed. And I think for a lot of decks that play, you know, creatures, they're not going to have so many in play because Modern is very harsh versus creatures. It's like, creatures not allowed. You got a creature, blow it up. They send a nuclear weapons. It's these small creature decks versus gigantic nuclear weapons these days in Modern. Okay, we got Skuriath that says, pretty sure there's already a card for 1 blue that sacks any blue permanent to counter. Don't think that saw much play, and this isn't that much better. I don't know what that card is, but I don't think, either it was not Modern legal or it was too narrow. Like, this is good in that it can counter anything. Like, it is good in that regards. I do think it's that good. Does that reduction work on Emrakul World Anew Madness since the base cost is over 7? Or does the cost reduction to the 2 mana guy only work for base cost? Just curious. Probably just not for the Madness cost. Madness cost is not casting cost. But I'm not sure. I'm not a judge. You can call a judge to be sure. It did cross my mind though, like maybe this could be played in a Snapcaster Mage deck. Snapcaster Mage doesn't have a whole lot of value these days, but maybe it does now. So you play your Snapcaster Mage, you play your Flame of Anor or whatever, you know, get a bunch of cards, and then on top of that, you can then sacrifice your Snapcaster Mage for relatively good value by sacking it to the Flame of Denial. Like it's free anyway, right? If you got to flashback anything from your graveyard with Snapcaster Mage, that thing would work here. Oh, Madness is a casting cost? I'm not a, like I said, I'm not a judge. I can't answer this question. I do not play with any Madness cards or cost reduction cards. This is like a commander interaction as far as I'm concerned. Very commanderish. Okay, let's look at another card. I am excited to playtest this card, though. I am excited. It could be really good. And, like, if it's bad, you just side it out. You just side it out. Toilet Duck, Ajani. Toilet Duck suggesting all the cards. Hold on. Nikachu. Nikachu Pariah. We got a white, 1 generic, 1/2. Because if it's not, doesn't have 2 toughness, it can't exist in this game. When a Johnny Nikachu Pariah enters the battlefield, create a 2/1 white cat warrior creature token. So basically, it's 2 creatures in 1, right? So it's like 2 mana, create... Oh man, I would love that in Merfolk. Whenever 1 or more other cats you control die, you may exile a Johnny, then return to the battlefield transformed under his owner's control. What the hell? Are you insane? So if it doesn't die, it turns into a planeswalker? What are they lost their minds? It's a Johnny +2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each cat you control. That's like more. That's stronger than a lord. Pay 0. Create a 2/1 cat warrior token. With when you do, you control a red permanent other than a Johnny. He deals damage to the number of creatures you control to any target. This card is absolutely busted. And then -4. Each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land perms they control, then sacrifices the rest. Unfortunately, the +1/+1 only goes on cats, so I think it will have a difficult time finding synergy. But the 0 is like perfectly good all by itself. Maybe Death and Taxes can... Oops, where is it? Maybe Death and Taxes can use this card. So I mean, it's a decent 2-for-1 in itself. Like it's not like the token gets exiled when a Johnny gets exiled. If you have a sack outlet, you can flip it the turn you can play it. That's right. You could. Will you be able to do it? I don't know. Okay, let's go with Red Bar Paradise with the right... What? Right of the... Is it white or right of the reliquary? White of the reliquary. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or is it right? What is the other one called? Knight of the reliquary? Okay, whatever. It's a green-black 2/2 zombie knight. It's got vigilance. I never knew a zombie had vigilance before. Now, white of the reliquary gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Not looking for lands anymore. Now looking for bodies. Tap, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. I thought it was gonna like look for I thought it was gonna look for a creature and put it on the battlefield. That'd be crazy. She dead! That's right, she dead. She slipped and fell or something like that. I have no idea if this has any good synergy with anything. Like, why would you want to sack your creatures to look for a land? But it is 2 mana now. I guess this has synergy maybe with the last card, the Ajani Nikachu, because then you can sack your token. You can sack any creature. Not limited to basic land either. Well, neither did the other one. The other one could like look up Gaia's Cradle too. It could look up fetch lands. Any land. Go on, the original Knight of the Reliquary could look up any land. Knight of the Reliquary. Look at this. Sacrifice forest or plains. Search your library for a land card. Alright, a land. This is not a new effect. It is on 2 mana though. That could be a big deal. Similar to Champion of the Parish, Champion of the Parish. I feel like this card does something very, very different. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh style reference creature. You think so, huh? Gains +1/+1 for the dead creature. It does get upgraded as it kills everything else. Your loss is my gain, says the white of the reliquary. I have no idea where the hell this thing is gonna go, if it's gonna go anywhere at all. And frankly, I don't like the idea of sacrificing creatures. Sounds like a disaster. We don't have many, like in Modern at least, we don't have many good lands to go get. Now, there are a lot of great lands in Legacy to go get, because you can go get Gaia's Cradle, you can get like Maze of Ith, you can get, there's a lot of really cool utility lands you can go get. Modern doesn't, at least not in like a multicolored deck, like a Golgari deck or whatever. I feel like sacking a land is worse than a 1/1 dummy. Well, you need that 1/1 dummy in play. What if you can't sack itself? All right, what if you have no dummies in play? Remember, Modern is hostile to the creature decks. You're not allowed to stick anything on the battlefield. You have a creature in Modern? How rude. Let us blast it to affinity. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Steve Cooper. Oh no, did you get sniped here? Planar Nexus is a real version of Nearby Planet. It's what Barren Glory is to the cheese stands alone. Ah, okay. So you're not okay. This was just a regular super chat. So you want to donate 3 to the channel? All right, let's look at something simple. Meltdown. Okay, for a red X sorcery, destroy each artifact with mana value X or later. The artifact players right now are just like
No, God, please.
very unhappy at the sight of this. It's the closest, like, and now it's not gonna hit like the artifact lands, the indestructible artifact lands, because they are indestructible. But it's gonna hit everything else. It's gonna hit your Springleaf Drums. It's gonna hit your Ornithopters. Very sorry to the Hammer Time community. You're really effed at this. Probably the Hammer Time community is looking like, all right, we're looking for a new job around here. Anyone hiring? Anyone hiring? Poor, what's that? 1 mana, 1/1 called, what's the Rhystic Study on a 1/1? Name of the card completely escapes my mind. Also blows up Ornithopter. Like, it's going to be really hard to really get them. I mean, you can still flash in a hammer or whatever. There's still, like, some room, but I have a feeling this is just going to completely beat the snot out of that deck. Big time. Meltdown plus Mickelson's Lattice equals Rip Lance. Actually, Mickelson's Lattice is banned in Modern. Believe it or not, Black Lance Geo. Esper Sentinel, yeah, that's the card. Esper Sentinel is looking for a new home. Probably in Legacy or something. Or maybe it's going to go to Commander. Because it has no purpose here. Urza's, well, the Urza Saga targets and stuff, and everything Urza Saga gets, it will get affected. But Urza Saga is not affected itself because it is an enchantment land. As weird as that is. Very, very, very strange. But yeah, Meltdown, new sideboard card coming to terrorize artifact decks that are already suffering. So you can suffer some more. Sorry, artifact players. Actually, no, this is the wrong sound effect. Moment of silence for the artifact players out there. Hopefully that Kappa Cannoneer really pulls for you. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. Look at Crowcore Games, Felia. Exuberant Shepherd, a doggo. Okay, it's a white 1 generic 2/2 dog with flash. Those dogs, they just come out of nowhere, especially if it's unleashed. Should be called Unleashed. That's illegal in some places. Whenever Felia Exuberant Shepherd attacks, exile up to one other target non-land permanent. So you can like remove a blocker from your opponent. You could also blink one of your own things. At the beginning of your next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control, and if it entered the battlefield entered under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Felia. I think this is a little fancy. Having flash is good, so you can play it at end of turn. You don't need Ether Vial or anything like that, so the white decks can hold up a lot more mana. But let's say you're up against like Ensnaring Bridge. You're not even allowed to attack. Like, you do have to attack with this. Something like Flicker Wisp was very valuable in those white decks because it just ETB, you guaranteed that value, you blink that thing, and they're super happy about it. But here you do have the clause of attacking in order to get any use out of it whatsoever. You can't do a lot of blinking shenanigans with, what's it called, Ephemerate or anything like that, so you really depend on attacking with it. I think this is going to be more of a commander card than a modern or legacy card. Flash is nice, but it's not everything. Sort of also sort of a weird thing to have flash on a white card. Is that something they do often? I don't remember. Feels like such a blue thing. Okay, AC/DC Final Act. Oh, the new Farewell. This should have been also called Goodbye. Anyway, it's a black 4 generic sorcery. Choose one or more. We can destroy all the creatures. We can destroy all the planeswalkers. Destroy all battles. Also exile all graveyards, and each opponent loses all counters. Only the opponents lose all counters. Why would they want to do that? Wouldn't we want to lose our counters? If each opponent loses all... counters in play, I see. So it'd like wipe out planeswalkers as well to some degree. Also, doesn't this also wipe out all battles? Why would you... What does this last mode do? Destroy all battles, why? Yeah, I don't know. They designed this 2 years ago. I guess they thought the battles were going to be like more broken than they actually were. I don't know, does anyone play with battles? They barely see play. They see like basically zero play in Modern. Basically nothing. Oh, it removes the energy counters. That's true. Energy and experience. Your experience is going to go back to zip, zilch, nothing. Doesn't this wipe out all poison? Yeah, it will from them. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know. And unfortunately, you can't even clear your own poison. I can't save myself, but I can save you. Yeah, someone at Wizards of the Coast hated the battles. Look, guys, we have to have an answer to the battles. I've built 20 decks. None of them can win. We designed those battles too strong. We need to have an act to defeat it, and it will be the final act. If they have poison, they'll lose them then? I have no idea. I know battles are terrible. Storm counters? No. No. I don't think it removes that. Also, this is sorcery, so I don't think it'll have any chance of defeating storm counters anyway. It wipes out tickets. Finally, the sticker goblin is defeated. That's so bizarre and weird. Group hug is black to remove all poison counters for all opponents. There we go. Or you mean, or is back, you mean. Okay, let's move on to okay, that was three freebies. Let's take a look at Madra. I like the synergy of Flare Denial and Sinister Concierge. Okay, what was Sinister Concierge? I don't even know what this is. Okay, so this is like something you want to use Flare of Denial with. A blue 1 generic 2/1 human wizard. When it dies, you may exile it and put 3 time counters on it. If you do, exile up to 1 target creature and put 3 time counters on it. Each card exiled this way that doesn't have suspend gains suspend. Okay, oh I see. Okay, so you get some value out of that. I think the best use out of Flare of Denial will be with a deck that uses ETBs in some regard. Arthur, thank you very much for your super chat. Quick jump in during work hours. Wish me luck on beating the monthly quota. Beat that monthly quota. Prove your boss proud. And then ask for a raise. See you in the VOD. See you in the future. Anyway, that was not referencing any cards, so we're going to donate that one to Maddie's Psychic Frog. Says seems busted. I'm terrified of this card. I am absolutely freaking out over this thing.
No,
It's a blue.
no.
It's for 2 mana. It's a 1/2 creature. Then when it damages the opponent, you get to draw a card. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there is a single card in Magic the Gathering that just outright draws cards for 2 mana, like upon dealing damage. In the past, it was always like you deal damage, you can discard a card, draw a card, or draw a card, discard a card, or it was at least 3 mana before if you dealt damage, you would draw a card. I think this is the like strongest of all the cards. It's not really Psychic Tog 2.0, it's more like what's it called? Shadow Mage Infiltrator 2.0, that's for sure. And of course there's also way more words on this. Discard a card to give it a +1/+1 counter. What are they, nuts? So if I lightning bolt this thing, someone can just discard 2 random cards, including lands, and put and then buff it up out of range. And also you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Psychic Frog gains flying until end of turn. I think this is busted. I think this is completely broken. Yeah, it's like a Curious Obsession plus another creature on a stick. Not to mention, it has built-in evasion, and it can protect itself through damage-based removal. And if it draws enough cards, I mean, imagine this. I don't want to be too cute here, but something like Life from the Loam will make sure that you always have cards in hand to protect this thing. Some frogs poison the body, some frogs poison the mind. Yeah, it danger. I think it danger. If I'm on the draw and I have no removal in my hand, I'm dead to this thing. I'm just stone cold dead. Also, like, I might even try to, like, dismember this thing, and my opponent just goes like, no, I'm not gonna let you dismember this thing. I'm gonna discard 4 cards and, like, buff it up to a 5/6, which now I most certainly cannot deal with it at all. And if it, like, hits once, then you just have to hit once. You get your cards back. You get the cards back anyway. I think this card is absolutely insane. You can sacrifice it to the counter spell. No, we're not going to do that. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Okay, John Doe says, Psychic Frog, discarding could be like you're going insane, losing your cards in hand. And the frog is feeding off your mind. It does feed off of my mind. It likes to chew my brains for breakfast. Very clearly, Psychotalk 2.0. Read the name a few times. I'm not reading the name. I'm reading the effect. All right, this is Shadow Mage Infiltrator 2.0. This guy had Fear, which is evasion. And whenever it dealt combat damage to a player, you drew a card. All right? It's the same deal, except it's 2 mana. And frankly, I think it's way more lethal. Like, if you're on the play, your opponent goes like land go, or your opponent even plays like 1-drop go. You kill it with Fatal Push. Then you play Psychic Frog. Then your opponent like plays creature to block it. Then when the Psychic Frog player plays another source of removal, the game's over. Like, I think the Psychic Frog has to hit only once, and the game is just stone cold over. Oh, I thought he had only 1 eye, and the bottom eye was the mouth. No, there's 2 eyes here. What are you looking at? That is so weird how you looked at. No, it's clearly different. Cool art, though. Very, very cool art. Anyway, this card's a huge I think this card's a huge banger. I don't want to say it's going to be format warping, because, again, Modern has a lot of removal. Like, a lot of removal. But if you're not a deck that plays removal, you are screwed. All right, this is like another damn Ragavan. I'm not looking forward to this plus Ragavan working in conjunction as a team against me. So, not looking forward to that at all. Shadow Mage Infiltrator was designed by a pro player, not just any pro player. John Finkel, that's him right there. One of the best pro players of all time. Give it Curiosity. He already has Curiosity. What do we need another Curiosity for? Okay, Catonian Nightmare. Was that a spoiled card? C.H. Tonian. I just have to look that up. I have no idea what this card is, Majra. Chonian? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Nightmare. See, when you send super chats, I mean, you gotta... Oh, this one. Okay. Did you spell it right? You did not. It was spelled wrong. And how the hell do I don't even know what this... Is that even a word? The Chthonian Nightmare? Okay, yeah, it's like reoccurring nightmare. They brought it... reoccurring nightmare? I don't know. I don't even know what the card is. It's back. It's a black 1 generic enchantment. When the Chthonian Nightmare enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Energy is back. Great, another ability that we can barely interact with. Pay X energy, sack a creature. Return Chthonian Nightmare to its owner's hand. Return target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So you get to sacrifice a creature and reanimate things. I honestly don't think this card's going to be very good. I don't think Reoccurring Nightmare is a very good card in general, so I think this card is going to be fine. Chthonian is the language of the witches to use to summon the demons. The demons! Related to the Cthulhu. Cthulhu? That doesn't help me, Blade. It doesn't help me. It's not helping me at all. Not even in the slightest. Okay, I want more upbeat music. Where's... Okay, this is more upbeat. Good enough. I think it would be neat to have a black card to empty the energy pool. Oh, you mean, like, Final Act? It would be cool, wouldn't it? King Ginger with the Nethergoyf. This is a new 1-mana card. Okay, I was thinking a lot about this card, and I've had big swings in my opinion between it. Is this busted? Is this fair? Let's take a look at it. It's a Lurgoyf for 1 black mana. All right, they made 1 mana Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf right now completely stone cold retired. But maybe it can come back in the form of another Goyf. Its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. Not all graveyards, just yours. And its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. And it's got escape for a black 2 generic. Exile any number of other cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. You may cast the spell from your graveyard for its escape cost. How does this escape work? You pay 3, exile any number of other cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. So I think you have to exile at least 4 cards, if I understand this correctly, which will unfortunately shrink the damn thing. I think this isn't better than Tarmogoyf. Well, now let's slow down for a second. Whoa, let's slow down for a second. Now, it is a huge benefit that it is in black. So now if you are like, say, a Rakdos deck, you don't have to splash green. You don't have to be a 3-color deck in order to have like a decent deck with beefy creatures. Now, you're never going to play this thing really on turn 1, but it's still going to be a pretty good card on turns 2 and 3, where you go turn 1, fetch, Thoughtseize, or Inquisition to Kozilek, maybe kill one of your opponent's creatures, and then play like another Goyf, which will be reasonably a 4/5 or 5/6 creature in combination with something like Mishra's Bauble. Now, the deal is here. I was always wondering, well, would this First off, Tarmogoyf is sort of pushed out of the format with cards like Dress Down. Like, this card just outright screws Tarmogoyf. It just can't survive in this economy. And Dress Down is a pretty popular card amongst the blue players. So Tarmogoyf is in a lot of trouble just by itself. And I was also thinking, like, Death Shadow's tried to make a comeback, like in like sort of as a Death Shadow Murktide deck, Blue-Black Shadow. But it doesn't have quite enough playables for creatures. Like, they play Death Shadow, they play Dothy Voidwalker, they play their Murktide. But it doesn't seem to be quite enough. Maybe they can add Nether Goyf to their arsenal so that they have enough creatures in order to beat their opponent down. There's also another problem. Like, Death Shadow is actually quite unplayable in Modern. Death Shadow has 2 problems. So Death Shadow has 2 problems. First problem is you gotta reduce your life total to being in range of dying. And at that point, your opponent just finishes you off with a bunch of burn spells, or just kills you with some creature, or an evasive creature. Second problem with Death Shadow is that Solitude shafts it so bad. So you can have multiples on the battlefield. Solitude exiles the creature and makes you gain life equal to the toughness. So exiling 1 shadow means exiling all shadows, making Death Shadow just stone cold unplayable these days. It's actually interesting. Death Shadow is just struggling ever since Modern Horizons 2 came out. So for that matter, maybe Nether Goyf, while not being as nearly strictly powerful as Death Shadow, maybe is a decent replacement. It's somewhere in between being a Death Shadow and also being a Tarmogoyf. And while it still is going to be weak to Dress Down, it's got the escape, so maybe you can come back from the graveyard. Although I believe that when it does come back from the graveyard, it's going to be so damn weak because you have to exile all your card types in order to get it onto the battlefield. Yeah, Tarmogoyf is 2 mana. This is 1. Tarmogoyf being 2 mana is not a big deal so long as it's good. Good in the format. No, eaten by piranhas anyway. Can you exile a creature, artifact, and land saga and escape it? I have no idea. I am not a judge. This is not legal advice. Do not do whatever I tell you to do in an actual competitive REL event. And also ask your judge if Nether Goyf is right for you. Yeah, maybe Psychic Frog plus Nether Goyf are going to be good buddies. That's actually a really good point, Maddie, actually. Yeah, you go turn 1 Nether Goyf, you go turn 2 Psychic Frog, already start discarding some stuff. I mean, you can't go too crazy here. But they do have synergy together. Nether Goyf plus 1 with nothing. Oh, God. What are you doing? Seriously, 1 mana 7/7 if a good hand. Yeah, if you have the perfect hand, 1 mana 7/7. Any number of other cards. So yeah, it can so long as the amount of types match. Gotcha. There are some other problems in that Nethergoyf has anti-synergy with Murktide. So if you want to play your Murktide, your Nethergoyf gets smaller. So maybe those two cards don't work in the same deck very well. Your Graveyard is sort of still a resource. You want to use that resource. So Nethergoyf really depends on... I mean, you could just opt to not escape it, I guess. That's fine. So you just play your Murktide, whatever. You leave your Nethergoyf in there. Leave the Nethergoyf in the graveyard. Maybe one day it comes back for one reason or another. Some more pistol. Does it combo with one or not, with one with nothing? Probably not. Yeah, Death Shadow is weak to Lightning Bolt to your face. So, I thought this card was going to be dead on arrival because Tarmogoyf is just unplayable, and I really don't. And this card is just not interactive. Period. But maybe it is a decent replacement to Death Shadow for the Death Shadow decks that wanted a decent body for 1 mana while still playing their game. Because Death Shadow itself wasn't interactive either. It was just a gigantic creature. So maybe this could be a replacement in that regard. Okay, next up, let's take a look at... Toilet Duck wanted Scurry the Gremlins. Doesn't like blow up a lot of artifacts or something. Scurry of Gremlins. Scurry of Gremlins! Red, white, 2 generic enchantment. When Scurry of the Gremlins enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red gremlin creature tokens. Then you get an amount of energy equal to the number of creatures you control. Could be a lot of energy. Pay 4 energy. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Could be a good card. It looks a bit clunky for Modern. I don't want to underestimate it, though. Maybe a token deck could make really good use out of this damn thing. Baccarat! Sorry I'm late, but Ugin's Labyrinth, I think we already looked at that card. Sorry about that. Ugin's Lab? Yeah, we looked. It was one of the first cards. You're too late! You're late on that one, too, but we'll get to that when we get to that. All these have been... We've done all of these. And we have, okay, all these super chats are going to be donated. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what's another one? For anyone who's been on the show since the beginning, you'll know which cards we haven't done yet. The cheap Lurgoyf that works off of only the opponent's graveyard would be fun. Oh god, that'd be very awkward. We did Null Elemental Blood. Did we do all the cards? I don't think we've done all the cards. Okay, let me look in the coffers here. What have we not done? Okay, I got a cheat sheet. We've got Flare of Cultivation. We haven't done this one. Okay, this is the green Flare. We got a Flare cycle here. Green, 1 generic. It's a sorcery. You may sack a non-token green creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Switch your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards, put one onto the battlefield, and the other into your hand. Probably is fair. Probably not broken, I think. It's basic lands, so... Sorry, Red Bar Paradise, that card is not officially spoiled. So my lips are sealed tight. Zip! Not gonna talk about it. I'm doing you a favor, Wizards of the Coast. I'm gonna play by your leaky rules. We can't talk about cards that don't exist yet. Okay, what else? Okay, so that was one super chat. Pacers fan forever. Flare of Denial. Yeah, we did that one. But I'll tell you what we didn't do. We haven't done... Did we do everything? Ooh, Kudo. We didn't do Kudo. The King Among Bears. We have a hate bear that hates on bears. Oh, King Ginger coming just at the wrong time. Sorry about that, King Ginger. Okay, we'll just spiritually say this is King Ginger's super chat. This is King Ginger's super chat. The bears. Okay, it's a white-green 2/2 bear. Other creatures have base power and toughness 2/2 and are bears in addition to their other types. Merfolk players be like, this has no power against me. And it's in addition, so I get to keep my Merfolk type. My creatures were already 2/2s. Bring on your bear army. It barely does anything to me. In fact, can you bear the weight of my Merfolk lords over your bear types? But can they afford to add green? Probably. What do you mean? Oh, you mean a Death and Taxes deck? Is this legit? This is legit. This is a real card. You like this? You like this one? It's basically the anti-beef card. So if you like playing with big beefy cards, like 5, 5, 6, 6s, everything turns into 2, 2s. Also, it will also so it basically shrinks all the big creatures, but it also upgrades all the tokens. So all the 1, 1s become 2, 2s all of a sudden. I can barely handle all the power of all this. Born from the greatest granite boulder, nursed on the sweetest honey, crowned amid a raging blizzard. These jokes are the reason why people have the right to bear arms. That's right. Okay, let's go to another one. Okay, here's another sniped super chat. Or I wouldn't say sniped. You just guys weren't here. You weren't here early enough. Christopher B says the March of Velasvel. Officially previewed oh sorry, March from. No, it's on Scryfall now. It wasn't on this morning, but they upgraded their database. Or updated their database. Or we have a blue 2 generic sorcery. Choose a non-basic land type. Each land you control of that type becomes a copy of target creature you control until end of turn and gains haste until end of turn. Flashback, blue and 4 generic. I have no idea what this card is for, what deck it goes into. I don't get it. Because it has to be a non-basic land type. So you can't say, okay, all my islands are now Lord of Atlantis. It's just so bizarre. Although I could say my, like, I could turn several Mutavaults into a Lord of Atlantis. And then buff up all my Merfolk. That's something I could do, I guess. Gates go smash? I guess? Maybe? You're, like, gonna tap out! Look, it costs 3 mana. And the flashback is 5. So you need, like, a ton of mana up in order to... Like, you need multiples of the same one. So this looks useless for Commander. Oh, it's, and this is for the Commander deck. I don't understand this card. This is literally... This is a Commander card. It's not a Modern card. This is it for the Modern Horizons 3 Commander set. Choose a non-basic land type. Each land you control of that type becomes a copy of target creature you control. Oh, non-basic land type. Oh, the type. So, like, tower. Like, gate. Yeah, not the name. It's the type. Okay, gates go burr. Gates go burr. And the caves. And the Urzas. And so on. My Urza lands. Desert ducks finally got what they were looking for. Works with bad combos that actually work. Works with Biovisionary. You have one Biovisionary, now we have many. All my deserts are Biovisionary. And what, we just have to wait until the end of the turn? If you control 4 or more creatures, no, just instantaneously. Instant death. I create 4 Biovisionaries. I've won the game. It's over. Croco Games is like, this is just terrible. Well, I mean, it's in the Commander set. What do you want? It's for fun. Have you ever heard of fun Crowcore games? Some people have it around here, especially since this is a game. We ain't playing no Crowcore games around here. Whatever Crowcore means. Okay, Pacers fan forever. This was also sniped. Sorry about that. Yeah, we looked at the Winter Moon. Is there anything we didn't look at? Okay, hold on. Maybe we didn't do this one. Okay, hold on. Leia Blade Reforged. Oh! Is this gonna be... Okay, so let me give you a super chat sound effect for this. Okay, it's a red 2 generic Leia the Blade Reforged. It's a 2/2 Spirit Warrior. Now, this always existed in... This is coming out in Modern Horizons 3. This always existed in Cube and Legacy. Although, I don't think Legacy ever really saw... I don't think it saw a whole lot of play. I think I played against it a few times, but not really. Haste, when Leia, the Blade Reforged attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And also, whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library and or your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on your Leia. I have no comment on this. Nothing whatsoever. It's got haste, which is good. Good job, Lelia. You got haste. You get in there immediately. You can exile the top card of your library. It's like Inti. It's like a slow. It's like slow in the fact that it's like 3 mana, but really Inti is just better because you get to like discard cards, draw cards, or you discard cards, buff things up, give things trample, it costs less. Oh yeah. Okay. So for that sniped one, let's look at Urza's Cave. Urza's Cave. Okay, is this... Oh, this is gonna be legal! Okay, land. Urza's Cave. Apparently Urza had a cave, I guess, after he hollowed out his mine. Pay 3, tap, sacrifice Urza's Cave. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. This is nuts! This is tutoring lands directly onto the battlefield. Does this even exist in any capacity? This has got to be like an incredibly unique new card that has never happened before. No matter how deep Urza delved, he couldn't escape his regrets. I don't know what he can regret when he can like fetch any land onto the battlefield as he chooses. So this can help fix people's Tron. This can fix Tron mana. This can, this will be a house, I think, in Lands and Legacy. Because this is like just a land that can go tutor for, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe crop rotation is just going to be better. But it's like a land that can help tutor for other lands. You can get your Tabernacle, your Glacial Chasm, or whatnot. Fun thing to do, use this with Planar Chaos. You can use it with Planar Chaos. That's what you can do. Yeah, land that tutors any land. And it's any land, not just basic. That's right. For all those people that are so specific about the land type being basic. Land type being non-basic. Or any land. Something about Planar Nexus that they didn't need to add that I hate on a side note. If you turn 1 tower and turn 2 Nexus, it can also mana fix. So you can play colored 3-drop. It is possible. But remember, Planar Nexus apparently is only in the commander set. How has all the other Planeswalkers not been done? I don't know. Free combo with Spelunking? Does that work like that? Maybe it does. And lastly, we got Dancing Odie. Thank you so much for your super chat. Just wanted to give you a couple bucks for keeping me entertained during the week at work. During break at work. I watch every video, but I usually only watch the replays. Thank you very much, Dancing Odie. Looks like today you were able to make the show. Remember, new time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Answered prayers was not done. I don't know what that means. Oh, answered. Is that a card? Answered prayers. Oh, wait, that is a new card. White, 1 generic enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Well, you're gonna need it. If answered prayers isn't a creature, it becomes a 3/3 angel creature with flying in addition to its other types until end of turn. What the hell? Oh, I see. So a creature enters the battlefield, we gain the life, and it's a 3/3 creatures. Card seems terrible. Like, I don't know, it dodges Wrath of Gods or something. But it doesn't seem particularly exciting, for that matter. The art is fire, the art is good. Angels cannot ignore pious pleases. Whatever that means. I'm gonna just quickly look over the set. I think we got everything. I think that's it. Yeah, we got every single card. All right, so that's gonna be the end of the show. Cool. Not a Modern. Oh, this is. Oh, was I trolled? This is Modern Horizons 1. Okay, going back to Urza's Cave. Sorry about that. Look at this new card. Look at that amazing card that's been around for 4 years. You jerks. Obviously, this card apparently saw no play. We can be certain now that this card was terrible, because it has been released for 4 years and saw no play. So I was right in evaluating that this card was terrible. Answered prayers was not done. What do you mean? We just did it, and it's not real. You're trolling me, Toads. You're trolling me. Absolutely trolling me. Okay. Are you excited for Modern Horizons 3? You let me know in the comments section below. Also, we do this show weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you Super Chat to be part of the show, or Super Chat for other people to be part of the show. And thank you so much for being here today. I hope you got excited by all these new cards that got leaked and then officially spoiled. I've got to thank everyone who's here. Steve Cooper, Marcio, Crowcore Games, Joa, Majra, Lublin, Toad, Steve Cooper, Toilet Duck King Ginger, Crowcore Games, who else? Ferginka, Jess, Owen, because you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the next cup.